Hello, and welcome to Socialist Strong. Welcome, comrades. Welcome, everybody else. So, for this second video, I'm going to discuss bad reasons to train, bad ideas, bad ideologies, myths, bad science, and try to address them, debunk them, and perhaps steer people away from those ideas. So, first of all, a bad reason to train or a bad guiding principle for your training practice would be any sort of oppressive ideology, oppressive social construct way of thinking, such as fatphobia, such as ableism, such as misogyny. Um, so, fat phobia basically defines some people as fat based on an arbitrary standard, and then further it says that being fat is bad. And that's just not true. All humans, regardless of weight, have intrinsic value, are valuable members of their communities, of our societies, and the same goes for ableism. Ableism defines an arbitrary set of abilities for a human, and then or any creature, I suppose, and then devalues those who are considered disabled, or who are disabled, who are not able to um, perform those who do not possess those abilities, those arbitrary set of abilities defined by ableism. That's also a lie. All humans are equally worthy of love. We're all worthy of, we all have value. We are all important parts of our communities, and that's regardless of um, our abilities to walk, our abilities to write, to talk, to lift heavy objects, to work in certain ways. Um, and then the third one, misogyny, is the idea that certain people are women and that those people are also inferior simply for being women and or being close to women, having some sort of womanly characteristic, or simply not having enough manly characteristics. That's also a lie. People are valuable regardless of their gender. So when we're training, um, let's try to disentangle why we train from these oppressive concepts. Um, people train to change their weight, to gain weight, to lose weight. That's fine, but try to, you know, not put yourself down over your weight. Definitely don't put others down over their weight. Same goes for ableism. People might train to gain new abilities. They might train totally unrelated to that just because it's fun. In either case, try not to put yourself down for what you can and cannot do, and definitely don't put others down. And thirdly, same goes for misogyny. Some people train because to achieve that gender euphoria. That's that feeling of validation within one's gender. That's fine. But again, try to remind yourself that you're not less worthy. You're not less worthy in your gender simply because of your physical abilities, and definitely don't put anyone else down for that. So those are the big three that off the top of my head. After it's sort of similar to this. It's linked alpha male ideology. It's linked to all sorts of hierarchies. The alpha male, it's linked to misogyny. It's the idea that um, there is a pyramid of people with men at the top, and at the very top of the pyramid there is the alpha, and the alpha is above everyone else, dominates everyone else, controls, crushes, overpowers, all that sort of violent domination hierarchy type of relationship, um, because of that person's superior strength. That's bullshit. Um, being stronger than someone else in some particular way does not grant you any right of domination over them any more than that person having a superior mathematical skill, having a better emotional intelligence, being better at cooking, being better at repairing machines, right? These are all valuable skills. Um, I congratulate everybody who is strong, everybody who is able to take care of the children, everybody who cooks. These are all valuable skills, and yet none of these people have any right to dominate others because of these skills and these abilities. Being the alpha is not fun, I don't think. From what I've seen of some of the people who engage in this type of ideology, being at the top isn't fun either because they're always worried about the next person coming up for them. They're always looking at others as potential rivals, potential fights that they might have to prove and reaffirm their domination instead of simply being able to say, "Oh, hi neighbor. Oh, you look strong today. Congratulations. Yeah, I've been working on my cooking. Great. Let's cook and train together." This is the kind of healthy lifestyle that I wish to everybody. Um, and I think alpha male ideologies does a disservice to individuals and to communities. And that's not a good reason to train. Um, then lastly, some to debunk some myths. Um, the first myth that you hear sometimes in training, especially in martial arts, a lot of different forms of training, is no pain, no gain. So to unpack that, it sort of means that, um, if there's not some sort of sacrifice, physical pain, mental pain, anguish, you name it, um, you're not going to get anything from your training. You're not going to progress. And that's just false. You can have fun. You can feel good. You can not feel any pain at all and still make lots of gains, still acquire new skills, um, acquire strength, all sorts of great things, again, without feeling pain, even without ever being sore. Actually, if you break up your your days, um, not all pain is necessarily bad. That depends on you. That depends on what kind of pain it is, and so forth. But you absolutely can make lots of gains without pain. And also, sometimes people who believe no pain, no gain, um, tend to believe that pain equals gain. So they think that just because something is difficult, taxing, distressing, you name it, or just generally very painful, that automatically means that they're going to be gaining, but that's false. And the science shows that whether that's your physical stress on your body, mental stress, distress on your mind, um, that there's kind of a sweet spot where there's no, here's like how much stress there is, right? No stress, lots of stress, and then here's how much your body is going to gain from that. So there's no stress at all, you're chill, you're asleep, you're comfortable, so your body's not going to adapt and grow. A little bit of stress, that's going to cause that adaptation, that stimulation, and that's going to lead to growth. Then too much stress, the growth drops off again. That's your injury zone. That's your overwhelmed zone. That's your having a bad time zone. That's your ouch, fuck this, burnout zone. And that's not helpful at all. Um, so sometimes people who really believe that no pain, no gain can push things too far into that, and it's not doing them any favors. Um, so that's why no pain, no gain is bullshit in my humble opinion. Next, next up is the idea of no excuses. What this sort of means, how people use this is sort of, you are fundamentally responsible for how you spend your time, how much you train, and also for your level of physical fitness. Um, I mean, just this is just not true. Um, to some degree, yes, we have choices we can make and some agency over how we train, if we train, and the result of that, is can be predictable, can be not. There's also lots of factors that are out of our control. Um, but in both cases, I think what's missing is no judgment. So I think no excuses, that idea can be true, let's not make excuses, we don't need excuses. That's true when there's no judgment. So if there's no judgment, if my level of physical strength, let's say, being inferior to yours, to somebody else's, is not being judged, if I'm not being put down for that, then I don't need to come up with excuses for that. Oh, I'm not as strong as you. Okay. We can look at reasons. Is it our lifestyle, our training, our genetics, a combination of all these factors? Probably, and that's going to be an interesting question, but those aren't excuses because there's no judgment. There's no judgment to be excused. There's no punishment, no put down to try to get out of. So the moment we stop passing judgment, then we free ourselves from having to make excuses, having to come up with excuses or excuse why things are. There's nothing to excuse. You're amazing the way you are. I'm amazing the way I am. And I don't need to make excuses for that because um, when I am free of judgment. So no excuses can be an interesting concept when it's paired with no judgment. So that about concludes it for today. We talked about oppressive structures, fatphobia, ableism, misogyny. Um, they're in all of us to some degree. If we grew up in these societies that think these ways, that's okay. We work to unpack them, we work to disentangle ourselves, and we work to not let them, least possible, shape our thinking and our behavior. Um, we talked about no pain, no gain, how that's false. And finally, we talked about how when there's no judgment, there will naturally be no excuses. So thank you for your attention. Please let me know what you think, if there are some other bad reasons to train. Oh, and we also talked about alpha male dominance ideology and how that's not a productive way of thinking, not a good reason to train at all. So that's it. Let me know what you think. Goodbye.